Good morning to everyone in St. Louis. I wish I could be with you in person, especially because it's the start of the baseball season. And I am sure there are more than a few Cardinals fans in attendance in Missouri. I wish the Cardinals well, and I hope they may meet my Red Sox in the World Series in October. It's a real pleasure to be with you. I want to thank my long-term friend and colleague from the American Foreign Service, Ambassador Ken Quinn, for that very nice introduction. I want to thank the U.S.-China Heartland Association, the board, for this very nice invitation to be with you this morning. I'd also like to recognize U.S. agriculture industry leaders in attendance from the soybean, corn, and livestock sectors for their industry's support and sustained relationship and leadership with Chinese agricultural industry counterparts. And of course, I want to recognize the Charge d'Affaires of the People's Republic of China Embassy in Washington, Xu Shuoyuan, for China's continued interest and engagement with us on agricultural topics. And I would like to thank other people for their leadership this morning. Former Governor of Missouri, Bob Holden, for his long-time leadership on this issue. And finally, congratulations to Ambassador Terry Branstad for his new role as president of the World Food Prize Foundation. Terry was a great ambassador of the United States here in China. Terry and Chris are very well remembered here, and my wife Libby and I are grateful to them. They were so helpful to us as we got started here as well. I want to talk this morning about an important subject. It's about the U.S.-China bilateral relationship. It's the most consequential relationship for America, and it's going to play a significant part in affecting the course of history of our time here in the 21st century. We are, China and the United States, the two largest economies in the world. Our bilateral engagement affects not just the two of us, but it affects the entire world. And our relationship is complex, it's often complicated, it's sometimes a difficult, competitive relationship on many issues, as all of you will understand and know very well. The United States has also said consistently that we're ready to work with the People's Republic of China when our interests coincide. And they do on climate change and agriculture and food security, on global health, and on narcotics, particularly in stopping the flow of fentanyl precursors into our country. America's agricultural engagement with the People's Republic of China remains strong. It's a major positive part of our overall relationship with China and with the Chinese people. And on the topic of global food security, which is so important this year, we're very proud that the United States supports the Black Sea Grain Initiative. I have raised this issue with the Chinese authorities here, with the Minister of Agriculture, in fact, last month. And the United States welcomes the extension of the Black Sea Grain Agreement earlier in March. The vicious Russian war against Ukraine has had a major and negative impact on global food security, including here in the People's Republic of China. And it has the potential to reverse recent global progress made to fight hunger and to fight poverty. In my meetings with Chinese counterparts, I've asked them to support the United Nations effort and for them to push Russia, encourage Russia to resume inspecting more vessels each day. The United States is proud to be a global leader on this effort, and we're proud to be a global leader in food security. In the last 14 months alone, the United States has dedicated $13.3 billion in U.S. humanitarian and food security assistance to the rest of the world. The United States is, as you know, contributing record levels of emergency assistance while doubling down on agricultural development investment to stave off the next global food crisis. This includes programs for soil health and ensuring that crop varieties are adapted to an ever-changing global climate. Even before the current crisis, the United States has been investing nearly $2 billion annually towards strengthening global food security through USAID's Feed the Future program and USDA's Food for Progress and the McGovern-Dole Food for Educational programs. President Biden's fiscal year 2024 budget request to Congress includes an additional $1.2 billion in support of food security and agricultural programs. We continue to ask other countries around the world, including China, to join us in increasing support for United Nations efforts to address the global food security challenge. It's one of the most important challenges facing the world today. On another subject, and the subject at the heart of your discussions, is agricultural trade. The United States exported a record $40.9 billion to China in 2022. Indeed, China was the top market for U.S. agriculture for each of the last 3 years, equating to almost 20% of all U.S. agricultural exports on an annual basis. Agricultural trade brings jobs and income to rural America. Agricultural trade is making a real and positive difference to our rural communities across the heartland and in all of our farm and ranch states and in our fishery states as well, like my home state of Massachusetts. In my recent meeting with Minister of Agriculture Tong Renjin, we had a very positive and very productive discussion. We both share an interest in increased and ongoing agricultural engagement between our two countries. For more than 40 years, and you all know this, American farmers and American trade associations have worked closely with their Chinese counterparts to transform China's agricultural sector. Pioneering work by the United States Soybean Export Council, the United States Grains Council, and other organizations have greatly contributed to the modernization of China's dairy, livestock, poultry, aquaculture, and feed industries, expanding opportunities for U.S. and Chinese farmers in both countries. Maintaining a constructive agricultural relationship is very important for the overall bilateral relationship between our two countries. We want to see continued strong exports of American agricultural products to China. It's also important that the government here in Beijing follows through on commitments that it has made to our government and to our farmers and ranchers in the United States. We're monitoring and we're asking for the government here to honor fully its previous commitments to us, including those on agricultural biotechnology, technology that is critical to achieve global food security and global climate smart agricultural goals, which are at the heart of our ag strategy worldwide. We hope to see, for example, a more transparent and timely approval process for agricultural biotechnology in particular. The U.S. and international seed companies need to be able to invest in China. Currently, this sector is on China's so-called negative list, which prevents our companies from doing so and doing business in China. We also continue to reiterate that the PRC, the People's Republic of China, honor its commitments on recognition of U.S. States as free from highly pathogenic avian influenza, developing a risk assessment for topamine, and the recognition of the United States African Swine Fever Protection Zone. These are all important issues to work out in the months ahead as we work together with China. The overall health of our agricultural relationship with China is strong, however, and I expect it to remain strong in 2023. Let me conclude by saying that the United States government and its agricultural stakeholders are proud of the past investment we have made and will support continued investments in agricultural cooperation with the government in Beijing and the Chinese people. We want to ensure agricultural sustainability, food security, and rural prosperity in both of our countries. We're also proud of the strength of our American farmers, ranchers, and fishing communities. In closing, let me thank all of you with the U.S.-China Heartland Association for the opportunity to speak with you this morning. Again, I wish I could have been there in person. We in U.S. Mission China, including our new Minister Counselor for Agricultural Affairs, Robert Hansen, we want to be your reliable partner in building even stronger stronger food and agricultural ties between our countries. Thank you again for the opportunity to be with you this morning in St. Louis. And now that zero COVID has ended and we can travel again, we hope very much we'll see many of you out here in China. Please let us know when you're coming. We look forward to welcoming you to the U.S. Embassy in Beijing. Thank you. Have a great conference.